All right, so I'm joined by Sophia, who is a gastroenterologist from Italy. She and I will talk through this procedure together. And I'm not going to be so cruel, I think, Sophia, as to make you walk and talk on camera, because I know that, one, your career in endoscopy is only just beginning, and two, English is definitely not your first language.
Yeah.
So therefore, I will do the walking, and you can do the talking. I've been doing this kind of rapid tour of the procedure. I've gone to the end. I've violated maybe the rule of checking the stomach. What do we see here in the stomach? Just looking at that image.
Yes, there is inflammation because there are red stripes, and also there is an erosion in I think in the anterior wall. Yeah. There is an erosion.
So there's something in the anterior wall. I'm not sure I agree it's an erosion, but we can talk about that. And there are also red stripes, right? So there's that red stripes appearance that we've now seen in multiple endoscopies in the anterior wall.
Yeah.
That's a very typical.
Yes, the patient is on PPI therapy.
PPI therapy. So all of these are the typical appearance of, and probably this one as well. Funded gland polyps. Funded gland polyps in the antrum, or big polyps in funded glands in the antrum are an issue, but otherwise, as we discussed earlier, normally nothing to worry about. So let's start with our overview image. That's the sort of image you want, right? There's so much information in this one image. Start by telling me some things that you see in this image.
I see a recurrence of Barrett.
Not sure about that. You see a Barrett's esophagus, which is very patchy, right? It is not like a standard Barrett's esophagus.
Yes, some islands and some.
You see some islands, yeah, definitely. Is it a long Barrett's esophagus from this picture?
No, definitely
it's
not.
Maximum of 1 centimeter, right?
Yeah.
What else do you see?
There is the other part of the scar.
There's a scar, a clear scar at the 2 o'clock at the moment. Are we happy with the orientation of this, do you think? Well, how can we check that?
We have to come back in the stomach and also pull back.
That's one option. There is another way of checking the orientation that we haven't talked about yet in this course. My foot's hovering over it.
Yeah.
Water and the gravity.
Yeah. So we put in water. But of course, that's easier if the patient's on the back. Right now, the patient's on the left. Yeah. So the water hasn't stayed in the esophagus. This is not particularly useful for us. So let's use the gastric method. Here we go. So this is now clock face, right? You agree? Greater curve situated at 9, lesser curve situated at 3. We pull back, and then we see it again. So it wasn't too bad, but probably the scar is centered on the 3, 4 o'clock. Again, that message of where the Barrett's dysplasia usually is. So do you see anything jumping out at you from here? What I mean is, do you see something from afar which looks like it might worry you? Because this patient had a cancer removed or had a high.
No, I agree.
So what do you think now?
Yes, after acetic acid, I cannot see any area with a loss of effect of acetic acid. So.
Have we waited long enough?
We waited a bit.
I think you and I share something which is a slight distaste for waiting. But it's indeed necessary to wait as long as you can. Look at this this pattern that you can get. Look at it with virtual endoscopy. So this is the classic pattern of Barrett's esophagus. And if we just look around it, we will see that this is a bit of unstained thing, I think, as is that. But you don't see any loss of the structure at all. Okay. So this all looks fine, and therefore, now we would continue to do some form of ablative therapy to this zone, because we know the patients had high-grade dysplasia, so we want to get rid of all of the Barrett's. Right, I think it is probably the end of this case, unless anyone has any other comments on that. So